This is a Russian tank. And another tank. And yet another one. And this is actually a helicopter. Russian equipment burns one after another. It wasn't oncoming tanks or aircraft that torched it. It was the infantry, men who sat in the tree line and waited. What they held in their hands cost hundreds of times less than what they were destroying. These men here, a tube, a screen with a crosshair, a single infantryman. On the screen, an enemy BMP, just one missile. And the attack choked out. Today we'll break down the whole legendary arsenal with which the infantry turned the course of the war. The American Javelin, the Ukrainian Stugna, the Swedish NLAW, and even the Russian Kornet. Each has its own logic, its own price, and its own weakness. First, let's work out what the main problem is. A tank's front is almost impossible to punch through from the shoulder. That's where the armor is thickest, but the side is thinner than the front, and the roof is thinner than the side. All you need is to reach not the front, but the weak spot. Look at what the soldier is pointing out on the knocked out vehicle.
NLAW, що він робить з орковськими танками. Ну і заодне подякувати нашим західним партнерам за таку зброю. Значить, отут він десь попав. Там ми бачимо дірочку.
The jet went through the side, the batteries, everything that was behind them.
Прошив він акумулятори, прошив цей кумулятивний заряд баки. І тепер дивимося. Ось зеточка, тільки чогось чорна. І тепер дивимося.
Armor a palm thick simply didn't notice the resistance.
Оце сила.
The whole difference between these systems is only in how to deliver that charge to the weak spot. The first, the American Javelin. A soldier with a tube on his shoulder. He stepped out, fired, and left. That's the whole point. Look at this example. The missile first quietly exits the tube, and only then, already in the air, fires up its main engine. This is a soft launch. You can shoot from inside a room, from behind cover, and the position doesn't give itself away with a column of fire. And next, the Javelin's main difference from all the rest. The operator put the marker on the target, pressed, and that's it. The missile sees the target in thermal and holds it itself. Fire and forget. While it flies, the crew is already leaving. Jamming is useless. The operator no longer needs any link. The missile tells thermal decoys apart and burns through reactive armor. And it doesn't hit the front, a climb, and a strike from above, into the roof. 22 kilograms, up to 2.5 kilometers. One shot, nearly $200,000. Expensive, but the tank it takes out costs upwards of $2 million. Light, autonomous, accurate, that's why it was nicknamed the Tank Killer. One man with it no longer fears a tank. No need to hold a beam. No need to let it get close. Aimed, pressed. Look at what this turned into. The attack of a huge column that doesn't yet know it has walked into a shooting gallery. Look how bunched up they're driving. The distance between the vehicles is minimal. A Ukrainian soldier fires the first missile. The target is destroyed instantly. The column has reached the field. Another precise hit. The tanks are in a panic. One of them backs over a mine while reversing. It does it no damage. But a second Javelin missile has already been fired. The ammunition detonates, adding even more chaos to the Russian attack. Meanwhile, the missile hits the tank precisely, and it instantly bursts into flames. This place became a graveyard for a huge amount of armor. The Ukrainian soldiers deliver the finishing strikes. A lightning attack stopped just as swiftly. Excellent work. Method 2. The Ukrainian Stugna. The missile doesn't fly on its own. The operator guides it along a laser beam all the way to impact. You have to work to the very end. but you can set it up anywhere. Here the crew fires right out from under the roof of a ruined house. Watch the launch. No soft launch. A jet of flame bursts from the tube. Here's work against a column. The moment when just a few Stugnas stopped an entire column. You won't see anything like that anymore. The laser is on. The operator takes aim. The first shot into the lead tank. While the operator guides the missile, reconnaissance has already lit up the next target. It's an APC. From several angles, we watch it destroyed. One vehicle. A second. A third. The operators destroy the remaining targets. They were abandoned without even reaching the positions. And here it is, the final shot. The ammunition inside the tank tears it apart from within. The assault ends while still on the approach. And here are a few unique moments. A helicopter appears in the sight of a Ukrainian Stugna. The operator fires without delay. From his own screen, we see the precise hit. And here's a second angle. Incredible work. And here's one more moment. We're looking at the screen again from the point of view of the Stugna operator, and in the sight is a Russian Kornet launcher. In simple terms, it's the same Stugna, only Russian. The Kornet operator fires. At the same moment, the Stugna operator launches a missile too. A precise hit. This is what it looks like day after day, but here's the price. The system weighs nearly 100 kilograms, against 22 for the Javelin. You have to bring it in, deploy it, assemble it. This is a positional weapon, not a tube on the shoulder. The Javelin is aim and go. Now the Swedish school, the NLAW, the simplest of all, a single-use tube. A crew of one man, and you can learn it in a day. That's why it was handed out even to volunteers. And the territorial defense. It works the cleverest of all. The operator tracks the target with the barrel for 3 to 5 seconds. The electronics memorize the motion and calculate on their own where the vehicle will be. Predicted line of sight. You don't need to guide the missile. It's already been worked out for the operator. And now, the most interesting part. Here's how it works. Let's slow it down. The missile goes not into the tank, a meter above the turret. It looks like a miss, but at that instant, 2 sensors trigger under the missile. The magnetic one senses the mass of metal below. The laser one catches how sharply the distance dropped when the roof appeared. Both said, the target is beneath us, and the charge strikes straight down into the roof. And here's another example, involving American volunteers.
That's been up there forever.
Artillery fire can be heard in the background, but the fighters keep their composure.
What's going on?
Huh?
You said Arnie come here?
No, I said friendly coming in.
Ah.
A soldier breaks a fence, and this will turn out to be the key decision in this episode. On the horizon, an armored vehicle.
Wait. What is it? You got markings? Stand by.
Where? Left or right?
That's not a tank. I'm not a tank. I'm not a tank.
That's a BMP. To left. Go away. Back to us.
Between spotted and fired, a few seconds. Hit.
Did it hit? Yeah!
The soldier's emotions are incredible.
It's still there!
And the most famous footage of the NLAW in use. Mariupol. Look at how the ambush is set up. The fighter takes a floor above the street. The tank drives right under the window. It can't see the shooter and can't raise its gun that high. A shot from the window, point blank, top down, right where the armor is thin. This tube was made for exactly this kind of fight. A city, a short distance, seconds for everything. And now, the moment worth watching closely. A Humvee drives along a dirt road. The machine gunner works over the positions, and the machine gun falls silent. The ammunition has run out. In the moving vehicle, a fighter pulls out a single-use tube and raises it right from the turret. And here's a detail that's easy to miss. Look at the label on the tube. Confined space. An ordinary grenade launcher with its backblast would maim everyone in the vehicle. In this version, the backblast is suppressed, so you can fire it from inside the cabin. He catches the target on the move from a shaking vehicle. Chaos in the vehicle, shell casings underfoot, the driver holding the wheel with one hand, everyone searching for ammunition. They're being fired on in return. The machine gun is still empty. And then the fighter takes a second tube. He rises above the armor once more. 2 tubes in place of the silenced machine gun. They bought the crew the few seconds that were enough to get away. That's how a simple grenade launcher is useful, where a smart missile would be overkill. Here's a great example of Swedish weapons in action. The AT4 and the NLAW. Take a look. The Russians are launching an assault on Chavelin Yar. A drone is already up above. They're moving in this way. And right here, in a wrecked building, the soldiers are waiting. Their position, the window of a burned-out apartment. Nearby, in the same ruins, there are more of them. And here's the view from above. The infantry doesn't go into an open fight. They wait where the enemy is sure to pass and pick them off one by one. The first hit, they fire from cover. The enemy doesn't even have anyone to shoot back at. The dust hasn't even settled and a second shot is already going out. And here's the NLAW, a single-use tube in the opening. One shot, and he's gone. From here, it all goes calmly, one by one. While one missile is still in the air, they're already lining up the next. The enemy puts up smoke, but it doesn't help. The target is still visible. The last vehicle tries to escape across the field, but it's already taking fire. The blasts walk down the tree line one after another. Shrapnel rips through the engine, and it stops dead. Nothing is left of the whole assault. That's why these tubes became what they became. Thanks for watching.